speak about perfection and you also talk about the will of the people, it brings me to thinking about the ongoing debate, the raging issues right now in terms of democracy. One of them being dual citizenship and the fact that there are members of the opposition, there are some members of your government as well, who have sworn allegiance to foreign powers, and now it's an issue at elections. Some are saying, why deal with this now? I mean, we have violations on both sides of the fence, if we call it a violation, dual citizenship. But you really believe that the opposition leader, the deputy leader of the opposition, should be barred from participating in a democracy in general elections?
You see, and you're correct in saying that this is something that we've observed for very many years, but not applied. Constitution debars anyone from being elected or appointed to Parliament if he or she has taken an allegiance to a foreign power. You have to denounce or renounce, that foreign power's citizenship if you want to participate in the national elections to enter into our Parliament. But it was never really rigorously pursued. This whole thing started by the opposition. Would you believe? This whole awareness was started by the opposition. I myself, I must confess, never took it very seriously. But the opposition was bold enough to challenge former Minister Astafan, who is a Canadian citizen, challenged him to have him removed from Parliament because of dual nationality. The court, of course, ruled in favor of Mr. Astafan because it was supposed to be an election violation. Elections are over, long time, since 2004. But that opened up a debate in the country. It opened up people's eyes to the point where the leader of the PAM party himself, after being affected by the weighty pronouncement and discussions of the people, decided that he was going to relinquish his own U.S. citizenship. And he was demanding of his deputy, who is in Parliament, he was demanding of him to recognize that he was in violation of the Constitution. And so he should give up his seat in Parliament. He should pay back to the Treasury monies which he had received as a result of sitting as a parliamentarian, and said that within a certain time period, both of them would renounce their citizenship. I really dismissed that initially as old talk, because really nothing happened. The young man continued to sit in Parliament. I inquired whether he paid back any money. Nothing was paid back, so I said that was just political old talk. But then recently, the discussions and the debate began to rage again. We saw what happened in Jamaica. And then demands were being placed upon me, Mr. Prime Minister, to do what is right.
Demands by who?
Demands by the people. The call-in programs. You listen to the radio programs.
I hope you're not listening to yourself in terms of Labour supporters.
No, because a lot of the radio programs are somewhat antagonistic and against the government. And so we didn't plant that kind of thing there at all. But we just listened to the debate that was raging. The newspapers picked it up, and in several press conferences, the press was demanding of Mr. Grant, when are you going to renounce your citizenship? If you are to be seen as a credible leader in this country, you should not have your dual citizenship. You are in violation of the Constitution. Especially you're going to be the Prime Minister. Suppose while you are sitting as the Prime Minister, there's a war that has broken out with the United States and another country, and you are called to bear arms. Or if there's a dispute between St. Kitts and Nevis and the United States of America, how would you act?
But your hands are not clean in this either. Your Attorney General has dual citizenship. There are other members on the government side that have not renounced their dual citizenship.
And so we took a decision that for the upcoming elections, let us start clean. Let us put it to the next elections. Let us, everybody, start clean. Let us start to obey the Constitution. And so, of course, Parliament sat and passed the appropriate legislation that dual citizenship is unconstitutional if you are going to sit as a parliamentarian. Or let me put it this way. You would be doing an unconstitutional act if you stood for parliament and got elected if you are a dual citizen without renouncing one.
This is the parliament that your government controls with one opposition PAM member in it.
But it has 4 other members of the opposition on the opposition benches. I mean, this is a parliament of 15 people. We only have what? We have 10 of the 15. That's not a bad parliament. And the parliament unanimously agreed to this piece of legislation. Of course, there were discussions and debate. And when it went to committee stage, suggestions were made for modification, which the government accepted and did. But the spirit of the Constitution is what everybody said should be obeyed. And that piece of legislation just simply brought consistency in the electoral practice with what is being outlined in the Constitution.
But how would you feel winning an election in which the opposition leader and the deputy opposition leader could not participate?
No. We expect them to participate, you know.
But
we expect him to do what he said.
But you said it's going to take 3 months, and I'm not sure you're going to wait.
Well, he should have. He's been talking about this for 2 years.
So you're waiting 3 months? You're telling me that I can comfortably count 3 months from today and there will be no election called?
No. My election dates are not dependent upon that at all. That's incidental.
So incidentally, what's the date again?
I shall tell you as soon as I know.
But the point is that you're not going to wait on the opposition to get its house in order in terms of whether it renounces or not dual citizenship.
Just last week, the opposition PAM party was saying it's ready for the elections.
But it was ready, I think, maybe in terms of its slogans, its campaign machinery. You're talking about a step now that requires them to get U.S. government certificate in terms of
Last week, the leader of the PAM party and his deputy, who sits in parliament, because the leader does not sit in parliament, they indicated in a press conference, uninitiated, they indicated in a press conference that they have renounced their citizenship. They've just returned from Barbados. And so we said, well, since they have done the act, let us all together now put it together in proper parliamentary law. And let us ensure that since we've waited, they've done it, let us now ensure that we can go to the elections.
So you're confident that they've done whatever needs to be done?
That's what they said. And I really have taken them by their word.
And you are also telling me that you expect whenever your poll is called,
yes,
you will have the necessary participants from the opposition.
I feel that way. But I must tell you, though, that over the last few days, with the antics of the opposition, in attempting to frustrate me from calling the elections, something is amiss. And the people on the streets are saying, even though they told us that they renounced, they really only just started the process. But how am I to know? When I went to Parliament, I thought they had really completed the exercise.
But are you prepared to wait for them?
No. That's not the reason for waiting.
So what kind of election victory would that be for you if you don't have a real opposition to contest against?
I don't think so, you know. I think that they will participate.
Is it power at any cost?
No. I believe that if they really have not renounced their citizenship, the U.S. government, I'm sure, will facilitate that. And if I'm asked by the U.S. government, or if I am requested by them to use the government association, good relations with the United States government to facilitate, I shall.
Okay, that sounds good.
Next, will Douglas reveal the date? Stick around and find out.